Okay, excellent. Good morning once again, and a warm welcome to all of you for taking the time to join our monthly webinar, where today we're looking at the projects module. In particular, we're going to be looking at the progress billing and weekly timesheets. So the presentation will take approximately 40 or so minutes or less, depending on how we go and how many questions will be posed. Feel free to make use of the chat option to post your questions, comments, and we will take time to review them at the end of the session. And also, again, let's remember the house rules that when we connect to the meeting, or for some reason if you find yourself unmuted, just keep your line muted, and then we will have fewer interruptions. Okay, so without saying much, let's go and have a look at this projects module and what we have to show you today. Okay, so this is our agenda. We're going to do an introduction, and then we'll look at what's new in projects, and then we'll dive deep into progress billing and weekly timesheets. And then at the end, we'll have a demo where we will demonstrate some of the functionalities that are available. So what's new in progress billing? As you know, the projects module has been around for a while, and it is basically replacing the PJC as we know it, and this is an in-house module. That means it's part of the core X3 modules. It's not an ISV product. So it's one of the modules that we are actually developing, and we're quite excited with the new features that that are being added onto the product. So the features that I'm showing you today were actually released with version 12, page 25, or as we now put it, version 12, release 1 of 2021. That's where the features are, the progress billing that we're going to be talking about. So you need to be on version 12 of 2021, release 1, for you to enjoy some of these features. So again, some of these features, they are still evolving. So new functionality is going to be added on with the new releases. They are already talking of release 3, where some new functionality on the projects modules are going to be added. And some of the new functionalities will include the ability to also handle timesheets on resources that are not actually at work. Currently, we are only managing timesheets for people who are working on a project. So let's look at what's new. So we now have the ability to build a project according to its progress. I think on the previous versions that we were able to do invoices based on a milestone. So now we are actually able to build a project as it progresses. And this ability to build can be done using either a percentage, the project manager, or it can be the project manager can actually estimate to say, okay, this is where we are based on the progress of the project, and have the ability to bill at that point in time. And also, you can also bill based on the quantity tracked on the project as well. So we now have quite a number of avenues to actually bill a project. And also, the project billing can also track or can be invoked on budgets, projects, task level to determine the amount to bill customers. So as we go into the demo, I will be showing you some of the various ways of actually invoking the project, the progress billing. So we do have quite a number of avenues now available for billing to happen to a customer. And then some of the new feature that we have got an additional parameter, which is that STILINIT parameter, which basically initialize the progress status percentage. So we have quite a number of exciting things that are happening in this module, and I will be sharing some of them with you. And then let's look at the timesheet. The timesheet, something that also is coming up, well, the weekly timesheet, where we are able to view an employee's timesheet on a weekly basis and based on hours, the number of hours. And then on the timesheet, you can also plan the work ahead in terms of the tasks that have to be done that are in alignment with the project. And also you can track the employees' time and also be able to manage and to approve whatever would have been captured by the user. So there is an approval workflow that is that can be invoked as soon as an employee is updated and saved their timesheet. It can actually be automated to go to a project manager or to the manager to review the time that has been booked by the employee on the project with a view of either approving it or disapproving or rejecting it. And then at the end of it all, that timesheet can actually be generated and in automatic journal created and posted to the GL. So those are quite interesting things that we will cover in today's presentation. So the timesheet is also something that is very, very interesting indeed. And like I mentioned, we will also be in the future releases be able to track the time that is outside the project. For example, if a resource that is working on the project is on leave, we should be able to account for that on the timesheet as well. But currently, that is not yet supported. But let's watch the space, as they say, on release 3, that is coming in the latter part of the year, we may actually have that capability. Okay. So without wasting much time, there's a lot to show you. So we'll jump in and start working on the demo. So let's just bear with me. I'll just end this slide presentation and then get on to the demo. Okay. Right. Everything standard. Right. So for today's demo, I'm not going to take much of your time to walk you through what is projects and all the various fields that are available. I'm just going to be focusing on project progress billing and timesheet. So I'm not going to go and explain some of the various fields that are available. I'm just going to focus on the new features that are available to us. So without much or without talking too much, let's just go and create a simple project. Okay. And then we're going to create this project in sites ZA012, and then we're going to give it a description, and then let's just call it okay, progress billing demo, and then we'll just create it. Right. Whilst I'm on this screen, I just want to highlight some of the new fields that have been added to project management. So as you can see, this red icon here, this was introduced with release 4 of 2020, where we are able to actually do billing. But now this facility has actually been expanded with 2021 release 1, and we'll be using a lot of it. So you will see in a moment when we actually start doing the linking of the project to the sales order. Okay, so let's jump in and see what we have to offer. So we have created our project, and I think at this stage the best thing for me to do will be to activate my project and launch it. So I just want to backdate it a bit to say start at the beginning of April, and then launch my project so that I'll be able to generate and associate my project in sales orders and also to generate some invoices. So I need to make sure that my project is actually launched. Okay, so that is done. We've launched the status is now launched, and then we go into cost structure. Obviously, with cost structure, you can see there is our project with cost structure. Now we are able to associate budgets with the budgets with this project. So depending on how many tasks or how many steps are in your project, you can actually create a budget based on those tasks. So I'm going to create, this project is just going to be a simple project. We're just going to be doing some fabrication. So it's going to have 2 stages that we are going to add. So we're going to be welding, and then there's going to be painting as well. So those are the 2 simple projects or tasks that we're going to generate, or stages in our project that we're going to create. So let's quickly guarantee it, and then so the first stage will be welding. Okay, and once you create it, you can go and link it to add some budget lines to that project. So let's do that on that. Let's put a cost type. So we're just going to be tracking labor. So for our project, we're just going to put track the time for the engineer who's going to be doing the welding and so forth. So we're just going to put the time that we are going to manage the time for the engineer who's going to be doing the welding. Okay, and then we're going to track it in hours, and then our quantity. Okay, how much time is he going to spend on this the total quantity for this project? So let's just put 50 for now, okay? And then we save. So as you can see, we have created the first line, and then the resource basically is our engineer, and then that's our budget code. And at the moment, the status is open. So we can go in and add another cost structure as well. We said we're going to add 2. So the second one that we're going to add is painting. Sorry, if you can mute your line, Johan, please. So the second stage will be painting. And again, we go and add the budget line. And then we're going to use the same resource. For the purpose of this presentation, we can actually use different resources, but I'm just going to keep it nice and simple and say we're going to use the same resource, and then the time that we're going to, that is going to be in hours, that is going to take this engineer to work on this project is going to be 40 hours. And then that is the unit price of the engineer based on our settings. That's where it is coming from. Okay. So we have created a cost structure with 2 steps, one for welding and one for painting. And at the moment, we have our project and we've got our budgets defined. And we also have the budget amounts. And as you can see, under the estimated progress, there's nothing. The project has not started, and everything is zero. And then their budgeted amount, we can see where is it coming from? It's based on the unit price of the resource and multiply it by the time that we've allocated there. And then the new fields that are available, as you can see, is the progress billing. And this is something that is now new that we were talking about that we want to show you. Okay, and then we can also scroll around just to show you the scheduled invoices, the person who's responsible, and so forth. Some of these fields will be populated as we progress with this. So at this point in time, we can go and add some tasks. Okay, we can go into task planning. At the moment, as you can see, there's no activity that has been planned. So we need to add some activities to this project. So let's do that. Okay. So we are tracking labor. So that's basically what we are tracking. Again. So we are tracking labor for welding. And then let's look at the start date. When is it actually going to start? The welding, and then let's say it's going to start from the 1st. And then when does it end? Okay, we can also put an end date. Okay, let's just keep it open-ended and say, let's give it a month to say that's when the whole process is going to, the welding stage is going to take. Okay, and then we can add some resources down here to say this is what is going to happen. So just okay, so we're going to add the welding operator. That's the resource. And then it's going to start there, and then it's going to end there. Okay. And then we can just change the duration and say, okay, the duration in this case, instead of taking all that, it's just going to take in hours, 20 hours. Okay, and then we save that. Still on welding, we can also add an additional resource. So you are not limited to one activity, but for this presentation, we are going to add just one activity for welding. But obviously, in real life situations, there could be under one task, there could be a number of activities that you put in there. But because of time constraints, we're not going to look at all the activities so we're just going to keep it nice and simple and do one activity under welding. Okay, and then we can go on and create another activity as well. Remember, our project has got 2. And then this time around, it's about painting. Again, we can put our start time. We can say painting will start on today's date, and then it will end on that date. Okay, and then obviously we need to associate the task with the budget code that we created. So we go and select our budget code for painting, and I'll just go back and associate the budget also with the welding. And then we come down to the resource. Again, remember we are tracking labor. So again, let's pick up the paint operator. Okay, and then that's the end. And then duration, let's say it's just gonna take 10 hours. Okay. Right, let's just go back to our welding task and then associate it with the budget that we created earlier on. Okay, so otherwise you'll not be able to track the budget. Okay, so we now have our task planned. The two tasks are basically welding and painting, and we've defined the duration that those two tasks are going to take, and basically we are tracking labor. Okay, so we are tracking labor, and that's basically what we have done. So now we can go and change again the status. As you can see at the moment, the main project is launched, but these tasks have not yet been launched. So we need to just go in there and change the status. Okay, and then launch it, and then let's just change the dates as well. Let's just launch it there. Right, so welding is launched. We can go to the next task and then change the status. Since it's starting today, we will launch it again. So as you can see, we now have our project created and it has been launched. We have created our budgets for the two tasks that we are going to perform, which are basically welding and painting. And we have set everything up, and we are ready for the project to actually go into billing. So once we create this, we are now able to show some of the features that we can actually perform with project billing. So again, just to touch on some of the fields that are available, we have got the due dates. I didn't put due dates there. You can actually add due dates. The duration, as you can see, the estimated time at the moment is still sitting at 0. And then there are no invoices that have been done. There are no scheduled invoices, and then the budget, obviously it's showing that we've linked it with a budget. Okay, so let's go back and then just recap what we have done under the cost structure. There's our cost structure with our two budgets that we've defined for the two stages of the project, which is the two stages that are welding and painting. And we have created our budget based on the time for each work center, and then estimated progress and so forth. So that's basically our project set. So now we can look at the moment at the financial status of the project. You can see that if we scroll down at the moment, we don't have a financial status because we're just starting our project. But as we progress in the project, you will see some of these fields. We start getting values on the various fields available. Okay, let's go back to the main page. Again, I want to reiterate the new functionality that is coming, where we have got the ability to link a project to a sales order, and we tunnel using this progress billing, the new button or icon that is now available. So we want to see or track the progress billing. If we can just look a tunnel here. Okay, so some of these fields have been available, The new fields that are available is the progress status. This is something that has come now with the new release, page 25 or 2020 release 1, the progress status, where we are able to see and track the status of the project. As you can see, there's at the moment, there's nothing that we can track on the project. There are no scheduled invoices, no direct invoices, no invoices, no open orders. But as we progress, we'll see all these fields in a moment being populated. Okay, let's just go back and now talk about the progress billing. Okay, so now that we have created our project and the different structures and the different tasks that are going to be performed in the project, now let's go into the progress billing. So we have an option, or an operator or a user has got an option to say which tasks or which stages are we going to include on progress billing. So you can actually include both tasks, or you can choose one. So for our demo, we're just going to start with the welding. So we tick this field to show that this task is going to be subjected to progress billing, and then we save. Okay, so we've instructed the system that welding is going to be tracked through progress billing. And if we go back again to our progress billing window, we will be able to see now that because we have flagged it that it is part of progress billing, we should actually, if we search, we should be able to see by sales. Okay, so because we haven't created the sales order, that's why we don't have any values, because here we are actually by I'm looking at tracking this billing plan by sales order. So we don't have a sales order at the moment, so that's why this field is blank. So we are now going to go and create a sales order and associate it with this project. Okay, so we just back out of the screen, and then I'll just copy my project. So I'll just quickly jump into orders, create a new order. So this basically is standard. So I'll just highlight a few things. Put our customer. And remember, we are tracking labor, so we are just tracking service. We're not touching on goods. So it's just labor. Okay, so the key thing is when we use a non-deliverable service, we use a non-deliverable, that a product that is marked, that is one of the key requirements. It has to be a non-deliverable service. So I'm going to use Save 014, which is a non-deliverable service. And then I can change my description. And then at this point, I'll say we're gonna do 80. That's the unit that we're going to take. And then the gross amount, gross price, I'll just say the total project, because I didn't make a note there. I'll just put, that's the unit price, 2,000. Okay. It's no cost. Just fix my tax. And then the invoicing term, this is a field that is available in X3, but basically we're just saying the period in which we are going to invoice. So since this is a project and we're saying this is going to be invoiced in stages, and then we want the whole project to be invoiced at 100%. So I'll just select 100%. These are features that are already available in X3, the invoice terms, and then I'll just paste my project there. But the key thing is we want to invoice the project that is linked to a budget. Okay, that is linked to a budget. So as you can see, we have our project there, which is welding, and our budget, that's where our budget is. Okay, so there's our project. So we're going to select the line that is flagged as yes for project billing, and then we link it there, and then we create our sales order. Okay, now that we've got our sales order, if we check on the lines, let's just collapse this guy. And then if we look at a scheduled invoice, you can see that there's our project. It's going to be 100%. And then as we evolve and do some transactions and so forth, you can actually manipulate the times, the dates also to suit your project. Okay, so that's basically our scheduled invoice. If we go back, come out of this screen, and then go back to projects. And then let's have a look at the billing process. Okay, now we can see that now that we have got an invoice, a sales order created, all these fields are populated, and then the status as well. You can see that it is estimated to be it's 100% completion. That's where it is estimated, and then this is the estimated amount, the billed amount, billed, and then pending. The status is pending, and then nothing has actually been built. So we need to actually go and check how this is done. So in order to do this, we need to look at the various methods of actually invoking the progress, the progress billing. So how to calculate the progress billing? It can be done manually. It can be done manually, or it can be automated. When it is automated, that means somebody can actually come and run this, usually the project manager or whoever is managing the project. So in our instance, we have we want to do the manual process of updating the progress of the project. So let's start and say the progress is actually 20%. So this is will be something that is done by the project manager based on their observation and agreement of everyone in the project to say it's going to be we have covered 20%, and that is what is going to be to be billed. And like I said, you can also do this manually, or you can also generate this and automate it. So we also, as you can see, the estimation method at the moment, it's manual, and you can automate this using the financial status, for example. So there are various ways that you can actually automate. So if I say refresh just this, and then it's calculated, and as you can see, there's no percentage that is done because we don't have any financial status. But if I come down to the financial status and refresh the financial status tab, then we should actually be okay. Now that we've pulled all our values based on the budgets that we have set and the quantity, and all these have been put financial status, We can also automate this now and say, let's refresh. Okay, so that's the progress that is there, or we can go back to our manual process. Okay, so let's put our manual process and then save this. So we can actually enter the progress manually, or we can automate the progress, or you can also add the billing based on the task completion. So is where we are tracking the task. So for example, we can also look at how far we've gone with this project. And then the same fields that we had there, you can also come onto this line and then mark it as part of progress billing under the tasks, and have the same process of calculating the progress. Either you can enter it manually, or it can actually be automated and calculated based on the progress that has been done pay that task. So we have two stages the way we can calculate it, either at the cost structure or at the task planning level. So those are two areas where we can actually do the progress billing. Okay, and again, like I said, we can be automated, you can have it calculated, or it can be entered manually. So now let's go back and look at our progress billing, how it is actually looking. So we have got our progress that has been done. We've done 20%. And then if we can just refresh. As you can see, our estimation of 20% has come through. And then for us to be able to invoice this, we need to validate this field, to validate and make sure that it is validated. So let's just validate this field. Okay, and save. So once we have validated, if we go back to the sales order, we are now able to actually invoice our order. So that's the sales order that we created earlier on, and then we can actually invoice it and post. Okay, so that's our order, and then invoiced. And then if we go back to our project, Samuel, can you mute your line, please? Thank you. We go back to our project and then go into progress billing. We can now check on progress billing, and we are able to see that 20% has been billed. We can also associate billing with a milestone as well, and be able to link the milestone as it is completed. If the milestone is completed, you can also select the milestone and the description of the milestone. So this is something that has always been there on project management, but you can now associate it with progress billing. Okay, so that's basically, if we refresh, and then change our status, include our status to invoiced, and then we should be able to see the invoiced transaction as well. So as you can see, that line has been invoiced and it's 20% and it's no longer pending. You can see that the status has changed to invoiced. So that's basically how we progress our project as we roll into different stages. So just to recap, project billing, you can actually bill a project based on a task or based on the cost structure. And in terms of the percentage of the billing, you can actually bill based on the quantities or on a percentage, and that can be automated, or you can also do it manually by entering a percentage of completion. And the key thing is you need to flag the line or the task that the cost structure to say this is going to be tracked using progress billing, and then you'll be able to come and see the status and track the status of the project. And then once you validate the status, then you are able to come and add. So you can actually generate another line, for example, to schedule another task on this invoice and be able to generate the period and the percentage as well. As you can see, it is pending. So we can actually change this and go and change and add these invoices as we progress. As you can see, if we look at the bottom here, you can see the invoices, the invoice that we have generated and the amount, and the status is it has been posted. So in a nutshell, I know I've just overrun the time. There is a lot to show on project billing and progress billing, but we have actually shown you that you can create your project and you are able to bill based on the progress by entering the field, the percentage manually, or it can be calculated using the financial status, and that whole process can be automated. And also you can create a batch process that will be able to run every morning, or depending on the frequency that you create, that will be refreshing and updating the financial statuses so that there is not too many manual intervention involved. Okay, so having talked about project billing, let me just go on to the timesheet. Let's look at our project. So let's look at the one that we're working on, which is basically welding, and then let's assign a resource. A resource basically is someone who's going to be in charge. So I'm just going to pick Laurent as the assigned resource to the task. That is the guy, the actual person. Remember, we had put a title to say a welder, but now we need to put a resource. Who's that welder? The resource is Laurent. Okay, so let's save that. That's our resource. So now if we come out and go to the weekly timesheet, and let's just come out of this and then go to weekly timesheet. Like I said earlier on, let's just put our resource, which is Laurent. Okay, where are you? Okay. The project basically tracks the timesheet is a weekly basis based on week, and there is our starting time, starting date, and then end date of the week, and then it's tracked in hours. And as you can see, these are the tasks that this resource is working on, which is basically welding. So in this case, okay, just let's concentrate on the second line. I can just narrow it down to the project that we have done. The first one was basically the project that he's working on is the one that is ending with 69 on the temp. That's the one. So on Monday, okay, let's just refresh this. So as a resource, you'll be able to enter the time manually. How many hours did you dedicate to the project on Monday or Tuesday? Okay, let's just put this. Okay, maybe let's just update the project. Okay, let's take out that. So for Monday, you worked 5 hours for welding, and then this is the operator actually capturing the time. On Tuesday, he worked 8 hours, and then that's the operator entering the time that he has worked on the project. And then he has got an option to validate or to enter the detail of the time of what exactly he was doing. So as you can see in the detail tab, you can actually go in and enter the description and add comments and so forth. So you can actually break down exactly what he was doing for those 4 hours that he has entered on the timesheet. Okay, we're not just gonna go in there. So let's just keep it nice and simple. So he has entered his time, the 5 hours that he has done. And after entering, he has got an option to validate, which is basically so that it can go to the manager. And then the color changes obviously as soon as the transaction is validated. And then just make this, so this row is performed by the operator themselves. And then with the help or assistance of a workflow, the transaction actually can be posted and appear on the manager's desk and be able to actually manage this and approve or disapprove. So I'll quickly just go in there as the manager and then go into time approval. Then I'll just enter my company. And then Sage. So I can see the two, what Laurent has done, the project that he's working on. So I've got an option to say, okay, I want to review this, to change the status of this line. And then I can either accept it by validating, control, or reject. So I want to reject this one. I'm not happy with this. And then make a save. But I'm happy with the second, I'm happy with the second line. So I will put, okay, so let me just back out, go back. Okay, let's just go. If we go back into projects, you will see that if we look at the timesheet for Laurent, let's narrow it down to, our project. You can see that the first one is now red that we have rejected. This one I haven't made a decision yet. It's still green. And once I approve it, then it will change the color. So sorry, I had to rush the timesheet, but basically that is what is available on the timesheet. We have the ability on the timesheet to create, to capture the timesheet manually and use the workflows, the standard workflow processes to get them to be approved or rejected. And the timesheet is managed on a weekly basis, and the user can actually enter more details about what they were actually working on. And like I said earlier on when we started, on the timesheet, the next functionality that we're going to see is the ability to be able to track the time when someone is not actually working on the project. Currently, the hours that have been put here, that's the time that he actually worked on the project. So ladies and gentlemen, sorry for just overrunning the time, but that's basically what we wanted to share with you on progress billing and timesheet management. We can open this to, if there are any questions. Any questions? Wow. So, okay, there is one question coming through. Okay, one question is, are you not able to generate the sales orders directly from the PGM for the progress billing? No, you have to do it in sales orders. You have to do it in sales orders. Okay, the other question is, can the invoice not be generated from the PJM module? The invoice has to be generated from the sales module. Okay, so those are the two questions that I had so far, but feel free to make use of. Okay,
Andy, can you hear me?
Yes, Sam, go ahead.
Great. I think it's a great improvement to the timesheets and the project management. What I want to ask is it possible to tie a milestone completion percentage such that when I mark a milestone as completed, I can say when this milestone is complete, that is 20% of the project
Yes,
completion rate.
yes, you can do that. You want to tie the milestone and the progress billing to say the milestone should trigger the billing. Did I hear you correctly? You want the milestone?
Yes.
Yes.
However, I'm trying to put some weight to every milestone to say that, for instance, milestone A carries 20% of the project completion rate. So as soon as I put 20%, as soon as I mark that milestone as complete, then the system puts my progress billing at 20% instead of manually putting it there. Is that possible?
I think at the moment, I haven't tried that, but I know that you can link a milestone to the progress billing, but I'm not 100% sure that you are able to put the weight of the milestone to go and update the percentage of the progress that has been made. It's something that I have to research. Maybe I will come back to you and give you, or maybe post that one. But I don't think currently you are able to associate the milestone with the progress, with the percentage of progress made, and be able to calculate the billing, but not putting the weight of the portion weights and then updating those weights on the progress billing.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, there's another question. Where does the value of the build project line go to? How do I reconcile with the sales invoice value on the line? Okay, where does the value of the build project line go to? What do you mean by where does it go to?
Sorry,
yeah.
Andrew.
Yes.
So remember, you did your project billing at 20%.
Yes.
which was say 100 rand,
Yes.
right? And then you created a sales order, which you also did an invoice.
Yes.
So my understanding is the sales invoice could be having a different value from the bill that you made from the project. Is that so? Or they should be the same values?
It can be the same value, but remember, this is progressive billing that you are doing. So at the end, that's why we selected the invoicing term as 100%. So at the end, the percentages that we are putting should add up to 100%, and it should actually tie up with what is on the project that has been budgeted.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I'm not answering your question. I see there's a hand raised there. Rian?
Yeah, Andrew, so if I understand you correctly, does that mean that you can't use the sales document creation function that's already in PJM? You can't use that for the progress billing function. Is that my understanding of that correct?
Yes.
Is that something that will be changed or improved to follow that logical flow from PJM, or is there no sort of plan to change that?
I think it is something that is changing. This is something that is changing that you can actually use for progress billing. I'm sure with the new releases, that ability will be available. So for now, it is not supported. But I think with the new release this year that are coming up, I know there are some major functionality being added on release 3. So that could be possible.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, sorry, I think we have overrun your time. Thank you once again for attending the webinar. I just want to ask, my ask is basically to complete the survey that is I'm going to post there in the chat. And then also, for those who want to have a recording, we will post the recording on on our YouTube channel, the X3. I'll share the link later on once the recording has been published. So once again, I want to thank you for attending. And then the takeaway is the progress billing can be done in different stages based on the task. And also we do have the timesheet that is monitored on a weekly basis, and it is entered, and you are able to send it to the manager for approval. Once again, thank you for taking this time, and stay safe, and hopefully we'll meet again in the future sessions. Thank you.